Hi YouTube and welcome to my channel No Gas Adventures. A few days ago I took the Rivian R1S to Hungry Valley SVRA, which is about 40 miles north of Santa Clarita Valley, close to Gorman, California. The Hungry Valley SVRA has a 4x4 practice track, which is really good for beginners to learn the tips and tricks of off-roading. So this was a very good opportunity for me to learn R1S, get to know the car a little better, and also learn a little bit more about off-roading. The first thing is to air down the tires, and I aired them down to 31 psi because I think that's what everybody on the forums was recommending for the R1S. Before I was ready to take the R1S on obstacles, I wanted to learn a little bit more, get a little bit more experience about how the car behaves and responds to different terrain. I took the R1S to different obstacles to understand a little bit better about the computer and how it adjusts the car in different terrain, the torque that it would send to wheels, and the suspension settings. It is not a lock differential, so the computer takes a moment to realize which tires are spinning and accordingly adjusts. And that is a little different from people who have experience with lock differentials, and you know, you could expect the wheels to mechanically turn at the same time, whereas for the R1S it recognizes wheel spin and then accordingly adjusts. I also wanted to learn how the car feels and where my wheel placement would be driving through rocks and different obstacles. It is over 7,200 pounds, which makes it quite a bit heavier than other cars in its class. This obstacle is, I think, called the steps, and it is meant to test the flex of your car. I was able to reach the top step without too much effort, but my rear driver wheel is completely off the ground. That's one of the disadvantages of independent suspension, where your four wheels or your wheels do not articulate as much as a differential. And this is a simple climb up the hill. The tracks were extremely rutted because of recent rains, but this, while looked challenging from the ground, was quite simple, easy, and a piece of cake for the R1S with the torque it has. As with any vehicle, one of the challenges of going up the hill and coming down is visibility of the ground under the tire. It becomes challenging to see the terrain over the front hood, and that's where experience comes in, and you know, learning wheel placement helps a lot. But this task is made a little easy with the R1S because it has a really good surround video feed that shows where the tires are and how they're articulating. This obstacle is called the frame twister, and it's really meant to test the flex of your car. You could see that there's wheel spin while the computer takes a moment to recognize and adjust torque. This is one of the disadvantages of not having a lock differential where all the wheels spin together, and so the experience is not as smooth while the computer figures out the power to the wheels. The R1T and the R1S have a water wading depth of 4 feet. I was a little worried taking the car to this obstacle at first, not because of water coming in, but just worried that because of the weight of the car, the tires might dig into the soft mud. But I kept a constant pace and it was pretty smooth. With a little bit more experience now under my belt with the R1S, I was feeling a lot more confident in the car, and so decided to take on some more challenging obstacle. This hill has several lines that you could take going up, and while the camera footage here doesn't do justice, some of these lines are quite difficult. They are on a pretty steep incline. The first line that I took was the easiest for my first attempt, and the car pretty much did all the work and was pretty smooth and was able to overtake this obstacle quite easily. This next line up the same hill is a little bit more challenging than the first one. It has pretty deep dips, and oftentimes alternating wheels or opposite wheels would be off the ground, and it really tested the articulation of the car. But the computer was able to figure out pretty quickly which wheels to send the torque to, and so the climb was surprisingly smooth. Keeping with the trend, this next line that I took was even more difficult than the previous one, and this drone shot gives you an appreciation of the terrain and the ability of the car when opposite wheels are completely off the ground, yet the car is able to keep climbing up, being a really heavy car with such of an incline. And the experience was pretty exhilarating. By the time I got to the top of the hill, I was feeling a lot more confident in the car. This last line that I took up the hill is the most difficult line up, and I'll be honest, you would see a little bit closer to the top, the car was, I felt that the car would flip over right over here, and I just kept going and relied on the torque of the car to keep me going through, and the R1S really delivered. With somebody who does not have too much experience off-roading and doing these obstacles, the car is really confidence inspiring and it's very capable. Hungry Valley SVRA is a beautiful area. There's several campgrounds, probably 9 or 10 of them, and there's a lot of trails and tracks that you could take your car outside the practice area. Practice area is just one section, but the whole area is quite large and has a lot of trails ranging from easy to difficult to some really technical trails. And this was a good opportunity for me to learn a lot about off-roading. Not a lot, but at least to start learning about off-roading, and especially to learn the capabilities of my car. And I had a blast. I had a lot of fun. And so I'm really looking forward to making more videos like these where I take you along with me while I learn the capabilities of R1S and also learn more about off-roading. Please help me by liking and subscribing to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.